your truth in just that love and creation, right? But doing it without expectations, not doing it because you're gonna get a result, or just like pure self-expression. But then also like acknowledging that um, we've been living in a society where you have to survive, right? And many times provide or whatever. mm, so that's the Seven of Pentacles. Now the next card is the Four of Cups. Reevaluating. Moon in Cancer. So you can see them there doing their nails, pajamas, maybe they're reading letters, maybe there's like crumbs in the floor, right? And by the water. Reevaluating. Four of Cups. So that's definitely many of us. Just, trying to figure out our routines from home. Our sleeping schedules. Okay, Four of Cups. It feels as if she has been in the middle of this argument for centuries. The Four of Cups is strong, but exhausted and unwilling to part with the quiet. She's happy now, along the seaside, surrounded by her most comforting possessions. The Four of Cups is asking you to question your exhaustion. Is it due to unhappiness, disinterest, or boredom? Living in a society so complacent with injustice, the Four of Cups is asking you to transform exhaustion into your own disengaged moment of accidental self-care. Oh, that's it. The Four of Cups is asking you to transform exhaustion into your own disengaged moment of accidental self-care. So again, it just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating, like self-care, self-love, boundaries, right? Like the message in the card is like reevaluating and being exhausted. Definitely relate to that, to moments in my life where I just felt so exhausted, so overwhelmed. I was learning, but not necessarily like being true to myself with what I wanted to do. So just questioning and reevaluating, right? Like where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? And then like self-care. Yeah, self-care. If we're not able to do that for ourselves, how can we responsibly do it for others? And I feel like that's how so many harmful behaviors and mistakes happen. And that's not to justify, but I've definitely seen that, and I've definitely experienced that because we're like in this machine, right? And we just keep going, and not stopping. There comes a point where we're not in our bodies, we're not connected to our emotions, our intentions, and that's the easiest way to harm others, you know so yeah. Four of Cups. So the card after that was the Star, which we already talked about. And then I just wanted to ask for more clarification. And I feel like, you know, this reading and, just the higher energies, higher self, guides, ancestors, I feel like they must get so annoyed at me because I'm always like, give me insight into what my purpose is, what is my mission. I've been asking that forever. And I feel like they're always giving me clues. They're always showing me, but I'm not able to see, like it's obvious. It's right there. Like we're giving you the answers. But, it's just been part of my journey. Um to learn what it is, and which is like multiple things. It's not one thing. But I just want to feel like I'm in my purpose, in my mission. I don't want to waste energy anymore, or not waste. Sorry. Again, being grateful for my experiences and definitely learning, but just being where I'm meant to be. I keep, like, a lot of the times I just derail. I just keep derailing. So I ask for clarification, and for clarification I use another tarot deck, which is called Sacred Earth Oracle. And the card that came out is Moderation. Look at those beautiful hummingbirds. So let's see what it says. Moderation. So this is a bit longer. So there's like an earthly meaning, spiritual meaning, and then insight. A coping mechanism, a helper, or an attitude that has served you reaches its limits. The impulse to pull back from a situation or relationship. A stray word or action offers a taste of things to come. Letting go of moderation reveals more than expected. Resist, or to be resistant to, adding insult to injury. When you remove emotions, what is left? Spiritual meaning. Love is the only thing you enter this world with, and it is the only thing you will take with you when you leave. It is your true essence. Everything else is transient, like clouds passing by, here for a moment and then gone. Look within and you will see that love is not a distant shore, but an ocean of light inside you. And then it talks about insight. It talks about salt being essential, to earth and to animals and humans, to able to make our nerves and muscles work. And it talks about how, the different uses of salt as currencies, and then like farmers. And in rituals, salt was linked to preservation, purification, protection, and the true essence of salt. And so the insight is that salt is vital and versatile, but it also makes 97% of the earth's water undrinkable for humans. Putting your toe in the water won't tell you how salty it is. That first sentence, a coping mechanism, a helper, or an attitude that has served you reaches its limits. Yeah, there's so much here that I'm just like decoding. But yeah, so that's one of the cards that came out, moderation. So I'm definitely like still reflecting on all the meanings here. But again, like this theme of love, everything else is transient. Yeah, yeah. What comes to mind? I'm curious. And that last line, putting your toe in the water won't tell you how salty it is. So, so that's one of the cards that came out. The other one that came out is the teacher. So, this being the energy of 4, which is fire, Aries, and the planet is Mars. And it's so perfect because if you watch my other video, I was talking about the 444 portal, and then I read, the description of this card on the energy of 4. So this is the teacher. So these 3 cards was asking for clarification in relation to my purpose and mission. So let's see what the teacher says. Got it. The teacher organizes the platform for debate, the arsenal for the life lessons, the guides for poetic imagination, the textbooks for growing up, and never-ending stories. Having learned from experience, fell from obstacles, and regrouped through experimenting with right and wrong, the teacher gathers her research and separates it into control and variable positions. She wants us to be able to choose between self-reflection and action, righteous control or abuse of power. The teacher asks you to hone your wisest self and turn chaos into a map. Through every triumph, every learning experience, and every moment of unwanted silence or oppression, the teacher archives the principles that work for herself and for others, creating libraries that help kids learn the definitions of justice. She's asking you to isolate your mind from the noise and shut down the voices that challenge your intellect. She's asking you to study justice. How can you aid and abet the situation at hand through truth and radical responsibility? Uncover a whimsical sense of responsibility that may forget to shower, but always puts justice to the front. That line of, she wants us to be able to choose between self-reflection and action. Hone your wisest self and turn chaos into a map. Isolate your mind from the noise and shut down the voices that challenge your intellect. Whimsical sense of responsibility. Always putting justice to the front. The teacher. So maybe, again, without romanticizing what's happening and without romanticizing staying at home, I think, yeah, always putting justice in front and always being very aware and naming things. And at the same time, there's always multiple meanings to situations, people's places. And so maybe maybe one meaning right now is, having to go within, having to stay home, not being bombarded with so many things, societal things, so that you're able to concentrate on mission and purpose, and you're able to be in a path of justice that also stays true to what makes you happy and joy. Like, I know part of purpose and mission is that finding joy, self-expression. We're just like evolving. um but I often wonder, like, how am I supposed to change the world? What am I meant to do? And I think it's a source of restlessness and frustration for me, because I've always had this feeling of, I want to make sure that I do something meaningful for society and the world. And a lot of my life has been just kind of, making sure that I'm taking care of my family and just learning and surviving. But, I definitely want to be in higher purpose. And I just want to know what that is. And so, I had different clues. Again, I don't want to get my spiritual guides upset, and my human guides. You know who you are. If you're watching this, I'm sure you're like rolling your eyes and you're like, ugh, we've had this conversation. You know what you're meant to do. You know your talents. You know your skills. Why do you keep doubting yourself? And it's not that I'm doubting myself, but it's about knowing. I just want to have moments where I'm like, yeah, this is it. Like, I know. And I've had glimpses of those moments. But I also feel like there's been a lot of derailing. So what could be like possible missions? What are some missions that you would give me? So I know, okay, maybe one mission could be like to be a plant whisperer. So I love plants and I love connecting with plants, but imagine like being able to like convey messages to society from the plants. Be a plant ally. That could be one. Maybe let's see. I have so many, but I forget. I also, and it's also like, I appreciate a lot of activities, but I don't necessarily have the skills or the talent. I know that it matters. Like, I love singing, and I studied a little bit of music. But, it would be awesome if I could like create, or actually in my mind, I do have these projects. It's just that I don't have the skills, right? Like, I have films, different film stories and like imagery, and this concept around healing justice, and spiritual practices intersecting with movement work and art. Anyway, I have ideas. So that could be one, like dream filmmaker. And then music, of course. Music is a huge part of my life. So being like a song decoder. Let's see what else. So writing, music, imagery. Oh, of course, like photography. I love taking those random ass pictures with plants and selfies. I have no photography skills, but it's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, but that's definitely something that I enjoy. So, pictures and how can we put our love skills, my love skills, into practice? Maybe I become like a love agent, whatever that means. Um, like, can we trade? If I come cuddle you, can we trade for something else? uh, um, one time, I was having this conversation with a friend, and we were talking about space and kind of, talking about like our dream jobs, or not necessarily our dream jobs, but if we were in space or in connection with other beings, multidimensional beings, like what kind of jobs would we do? So this is what I came up with. So one of my jobs would be like interspecies liaison. um, so whatever that means, just like communicating and being a bridge between species. And then the other one was frequency, music and frequency creator. So creating frequencies, or like using music to communicate frequencies that will help people. So, that's a potential intergalactic career for me. What else? I mean, spiritual activism, of course. I know I have others. Anyway, I'm curious to know where you see me around purpose and mission. And please don't get frustrated. Well, apparently I'm doing YouTube now. But I also, I've been also reflecting on if you could summarize your life in one sentence or like saying. And what came up for me was living multiple lifetimes in one, and multiple lives. So that's definitely a pattern that I see in my life. Around my life is cyclical. I've realized that. So like every 9 to 11 years, there's a huge shift, like a move, ending of a job, or like endings and shifting. So my life is cyclical. So I always feel like I've had just like different experiences throughout my life. So that definitely has helped me just stay present and I appreciate what I'm doing in the moment, because I know that in the future I might be doing something else. And then it's always this like matter of figuring out how to bring my past life into like the present one, if that makes sense. So that was one. And then the other one was ni de aquí ni de allá, right? Like I'm neither from here nor from there. And so yeah, anyways, purpose and mission. So yeah, I'm curious what yours if you know about yours, if you feel like you're in your path. So let's just pull one more card to end our reading. Okay, and what we have is the Eight of Cups. So is abandon, Saturn in Pisces. So I guess this is our, this is our closing for the night. So let's see what the Eight of Cups is about. The Eight of Cups found their truth, developed their escape plan, and exited the parameters of their unwelcome past. They built a vessel from scratch, knowing that this journey requires self-sufficiency, stability, and a warrior spirit. Aside from speed and determination, the Eight of Cups harbors tenderness, as they know living is often complicated. The Eight of Cups is asking you to look back and investigate the trajectory of your departure. What was the last word said? Are you validated? Are you validating others? Was the drift mutual, or are you a ghost? The Eight of Cups is asking you to stay solid and true. They ask you to follow the path of rebirth with grace and dignity. What can I say? What can I say? I'll read it again. So the Eight of Cups found their truth, developed their escape plan, and exited the parameters of their unwelcome past. They built a vessel from scratch, knowing that this journey requires self-sufficiency, stability, and a warrior spirit. Aside from speed and determination, the Eight of Cups harbors tenderness, as they know living is often complicated. The Eight of Cups is asking you to look back and investigate the trajectory of your departure. What was the last word said? Are you validated? Are you validating others? Was the drift mutual, or are you a ghost? The Eight of Cups is asking you to stay solid and true. They ask you to follow the path of rebirth with grace and dignity. the trajectory of your departure from your current reality. You found your truth. You developed your escape plan and exited the parameters of the unwelcome past. Oof, it's so bittersweet. Well, that's liberation. That's liberation for you. This is so beautiful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah. 8 of Cups.